Hello folks, Anahita Rao. Speaking about eclipses today. So we have a powerful solar eclipse taking place on December the 4th, and this will be the last eclipse of 2021. We had eclipses in the same nakshatra in Jyestha in June 2020 as well as December 2020. So similar themes may come up now. It will bring some positive closure and culmination to matters that came up last year, depending on where Scorpio is in your chart. This is going to be the final eclipse we see in Jyestha. Yeah? We do have one more eclipse to experience in Scorpio next year, but this is the final one in Jyestha. Some eclipses are, of course, more intense than others, and so their impact lasts longer, but generally there is a 1 month, 3 month, or 6 month window to see changes. Yeah, so let's talk about December's solar eclipse. Okay, so there's a solar eclipse taking place in Scorpio on December 4th at approximately 7 a.m. UTC in the nakshatra of Jyestha at approximately 18 degrees. This eclipse is caused by Ketu, which is more than 10 degrees away from the eclipse because it's actually transiting through Anuradha at the moment. We have Mercury, however, 3 degrees away from the eclipse degree. Mercury's connection here is critical as it's also the ruling planet of Jyestha, where the sun and moon reside on the eclipse day. And we also have to pay attention to Mars's position because it's the ruler of Scorpio. So you see, all that energy is magnified. Ketu, being the co-ruler of Scorpio, is part of the eclipse. Mercury, being the ruling planet of Jyestha, is also part of the eclipse. Mars is situated in Libra, situated just 12th from the eclipse. So this could, again, bring matters to culmination related to what Scorpio is in your chart. There can, as usual, be a letting go of sorts, as is the case with many eclipses, especially if it's in a place like Scorpio, and especially if it's impacted by that Ketu. So there could be a letting go of sorts connected to whatever Scorpio is for you. There is an aspect of Jupiter to Mars at this time. So whatever is finishing or coming to an end or coming to fulfillment even, right? It doesn't mean an ending necessarily. It could simply be a culmination, a fulfillment. It's going to be for the betterment of the future. There is a parivartan happening because Jupiter is in Mars's nakshatra and Mars is in Jupiter's nakshatra at this time. So they're making a connection. So whatever matters come up that signify Mars or Jupiter, depending on your own personal planets and dasha sequence happening, they will be blessed at this time. Yeah. So it's a good omen for starting new after the eclipse. Yeah. Nonetheless, we can't ignore that it's a Scorpio moon, so some fears can come up, anxieties, maybe even like obsessive compulsive type of feelings. You can go through that at this time. And again, I often notice that the energy is most potent the few days before the eclipse actually takes place. And then after the eclipse has taken place, it starts to wane a little bit. It can re-emerge, that potency can re-emerge in a month from that eclipse as well. Yeah, especially if there's a planet that moves through that sensitive zone to re-emerge the eclipse energy. because it's Scorpio, the energy of death and rebirth is strong. So your intuition will also be very strong right now, especially with that Mercury and Moon conjuncting in Scorpio. So take time, again, to go inward if possible, and you will arrive at the right answers. But whatever is coming up, I feel like it's going to be blessed because of Mars's position, which is Mars being the dispositor of the eclipse, getting the aspect of Jupiter. Yeah. So expect some positive transformation in the areas that Mars and Mercury represent for you. Look at their lordships. See also where Scorpio falls in your chart to see areas that you can expect change. Whatever came up in June 2020 and December 2020 will re-emerge for the final time, so you can deal with it once and for all. It will finally clear away old structures, old ways of living, perhaps even old ways of thinking, and open a new path for everyone. And the decisions that were difficult to make back then now will be more clear, and you will feel that finally they are necessary to make those decisions for experiencing some kind of positive growth in your life. Of course, this again affects Taurus and Scorpio directly, but also those who have personal planets close to the eclipse degree. Pay attention to Mercury's rulership and placement for you, as this is the area of life that you can see some real transformation. Eclipse takes place in the first pada of Jyestha in the Sagittarius Navamsha. This pada is ruled by Jupiter. It means that your concerns at this time could be related to family or home issues. Yeah. They could be causing worries. Especially with Mars aspecting in the D9 means you could experience some disagreements in this area. You may have to take extra responsibilities at this time, and that could mean in your family, in your home, with your domestic situation. But I would say don't go overboard here, because you also may be overdoing it or overthinking it. So you could be being overprotective, you could be being oversensitive, or you could also be feeling a bit insecure. Once again, because that's that Scorpio energy. See what Scorpio represents for you in your chart. See it from your Lagna, but also see it from your moon. What house does Scorpio land in? And that will give you clues. Like if it's your second lord, if it's your second house or your 11th house, that this could definitely be, you definitely might be feeling insecure when it has to do with matters concerning money or your partnerships, for instance. If it's your 7th house, you could perhaps face a culmination of sorts in your partnerships, or you could come to some kind of resolution, some kind of conclusion. And communications at this time can also be emotionally driven, right? Because of that Moon and Mercury connection happening in Scorpio. And this can create misunderstandings. So I would say check and double check all of your communication, especially the written ones, right? Because that Moon impacting Mercury in Scorpio. So let's talk a little bit about Jyestha, where the eclipse takes place. Jyestha means elder. This could signify elder in experience, elder in age, elder in status. Indra is a ruling deity of this nakshatra, so it can suggest a powerful authority influencing our lives also at this time. Yeah. Where we may have little say in what's going on. It can show up in areas that are represented by Scorpio in your chart. So see what Scorpio represents for you. Jyestha also represents those that are hot-headed, take impulsive decisions, and do not accept the advice of others. But it's also a star that gives strength of character, persistence, focus. So it's a good time actually to take charge of your life, again, with the matters that are connected with Scorpio. and plan and organize for the next few months. Right? In a positive framework, you could use this time to focus on your goals and set out to accomplish yourself in your career. Perhaps find new ways to make an income. Jyestha is also good for taking on responsibilities, taking control, planning, discussing serious issues. So excellent time to face some issues that you may have been avoiding. If you've ever been keen to explore the occult subjects, this eclipse will help you do that. And I would say just be wary of confrontations here, or being insensitive, or taking advantage of others. Yeah. I would say overall it's a much easier eclipse than the last two in Jyestha, because we would have been dealing with these issues for a couple of years now. Well, a year and a half. 18 months. So for that reason alone, it will be easier, because you would be in a place where you can finally come to a decision that you're happy with, that you feel a sense of relief about. Yeah. And not just the Jyestha eclipses, but it's definitely going to be an easier energy than the one that we experienced in May in Scorpio, but that was in Anuradha. It can also open up new doors for you, depending on what is represented by Scorpio in your chart, and see whether it's impacting any of the lordships, like if it's connecting with any planets in your chart. It could also be opposing a planet. Like, for example, say you have Venus sitting in 18 degrees of Taurus, then that would still impact you, right? Because this is happening at 18 degrees of Scorpio. So that's it for now. Don't forget to hit the subscribe, like, and share button. And of course, feel free to leave your comments. Thank you, folks. All the best.